Okay, let's dive into a culinary mission that is so mathematically precise. One single wrong move turns a potential masterpiece into, well, an absolute chaotic mess. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the Italian botanical Mocha Emulsion protocol. Now, I know it sounds a bit like a lab experiment, and honestly, it kind of is. What we're looking at here is a literal masterclass in flavor balancing, managing a group of ingredients that, quite frankly, want nothing more than to completely destroy each other. So, what's the golden rule for surviving this chemical collision? Simply put, we must isolate the components. We're dealing with a highly volatile combination of flavors here: coffee, mint, berries, and chocolate. If you just take pureed strawberries and blueberries and boil them directly in milk, the fruit acids are going to instantly curdle your dairy proteins. It's ruined. Beyond that, mixing mint and fruit haphazardly, that's going to clash disastrously on your palate. So to survive this and actually make it taste amazing, we have to rely on strict scientific isolation. To pull off this ultimate flavor heist, we've got a tight four-phase agenda today. We'll start by evaluating the volatile crew, then execute Phase 1, acid isolation, move into Phase 2, aromatic extraction, build Phase 3, the Italian matrix, and finally finish with the architectural assembly. Let's jump right into Section 1, the volatile crew and the flavor collision. Okay, so here is the core threat we're up against. Mint and berries, left entirely to their own devices, clash horribly. It creates this bizarre sensation that honestly tastes basically like brushing your teeth while eating a piece of toast with jam. Yeah, cloying and chaotic. Nobody wants that. The correction? We have to build a grounding bridge. We use the heavy, intense bitterness from 70% dark chocolate and espresso. This heavy base essentially forces the mint to act as a light, cooling top note, and it pushes the berries down to provide a sharp, acidic finish. And a quick tip, if you try to use milk chocolate here, the whole flavor structure just collapses into mud. Moving on to Section 2. Phase 1, acid isolation. Our goal here is absolutely critical. We have to isolate the fruit acid and evaporate the free water. Why? Because of what food scientists call the thinning defect. Think about it. If you just dump a watery, raw berry puree into a carefully constructed hot chocolate, that free water dilutes your starch gel. You instantly lose that luxurious, thick texture that makes Italian hot chocolate so famous. Plus, as we mentioned, raw fruit acid hitting hot milk equals immediate, unappetizing curdling. Notice the exact role of the sugar here. We're using a quarter cup each of hulled strawberries and blueberries, but that single teaspoon of organic cane sugar, it's actually not there for sweetness at all. It's a chemical tool. It binds the water through osmosis, actively drawing the moisture right out of the berry's cellular walls so that we can manipulate it. So what we do is puree the berries until they're completely smooth, and then heat them in a saucepan over medium-low for about 5 to 7 minutes. By severely reducing this puree into a thick jam-like paste, the resulting berry coulis becomes incredibly dense. It's been entirely stripped of its free water, which means it's now structurally sound enough to hold its own physical space within your mug without diluting our primary matrix. All right, on to Section 3, Phase 2, aromatic extraction. Listen, you really cannot cut corners on these requirements. You absolutely must use organic whole milk. If you try to swap in skim milk to save a few calories, the entire extraction will fail. Why? Because you desperately need the butterfat to chemically carry the fat-soluble mint oils. You'll add your espresso and a handful of fresh mint leaves. But here's a massive warning. Do not chop the mint, just bruise the leaves slightly. Chopping them aggressively tears the cell walls and actually releases a ton of unwanted bitterness. Next up, we combine our solvent ingredients and bring them to a gentle simmer. Never a rolling boil, okay? Turn off the heat, cover the pot, and let it steep for exactly 10 minutes. The chemistry happening right here is fascinating. Hot milk gently extracts pure menthol. If you boil it, you extract the bitter, grassy chlorophyll and ruin the entire flavor profile. We want the cooling mint, not the front lawn. Finally, just strain out those solid leaves. That brings us to Section 4, Phase 3, the Italian matrix. To get that signature texture, we are relying entirely on the exact physics of cornstarch gelatinization. This is the process where starch granules absorb liquid and physically swell up when they're heated. That specific chemical reaction is the absolute secret to transforming a thin liquid into that impossibly dense, decadent, spoonable texture of a true, authentic cioccolata calda. For the matrix itself, we need 1 tablespoon each of cornstarch, cane sugar, and unsweetened cocoa powder. But pay very close attention to the star ingredient, 3 ounces of high-quality 70% dark chocolate, and it must be finely chopped. Never, ever use chocolate chips for this protocol. Chocolate chips are manufactured with heavy stabilizers designed specifically to prevent them from melting smoothly. If you use them, they will completely ruin the glossy, luxurious finish of your matrix. Now, the order of operations here is completely non-negotiable. First, you must whisk your cornstarch, sugar, and cocoa powder with 2 tablespoons of cold milk to create a perfectly smooth slurry. If you just dump dry cornstarch directly into your hot, simmering infused milk, the starch is going to hydrate unevenly and instantly form these impenetrable, gelatinous lumps. It's a nightmare. Once your slurry is whisked into the simmering milk, you stir constantly for 2 to 3 minutes until it visibly thickens up. Then, pull it completely off the heat before gently folding in your chopped dark chocolate until it's perfectly smooth. Finally, Section 5, Architectural Assembly and the Execution. We have to assemble all these beautiful components without letting them turn into a visually unappealing, muddy mixture. We start by spooning 1 to 2 tablespoons of our dense, warm berry coulis right into the base of an espresso cup. Next is the pour. Now, you don't just dump the chocolate in, you gently pour the thick, molten mint mocha hot chocolate directly over the back of a spoon. This breaks the fall of the liquid, allowing it to layer perfectly over the coulis without mixing it up. Finally, take a toothpick and execute one single smooth pull of the berry coulis up through the dark chocolate. It creates this absolutely stunning visual contrast. So here is the ultimate question for you. Will your next hot chocolate be a chaotic, curdled mess or a structurally perfect Italian matrix? The science behind this botanical Mocha emulsion is incredibly exact. And yes, the physical risks of flavor clashing and dairy curdling are high. But if you respect the physics of food, if you meticulously isolate your acids, protect your butterfat, and properly manage your starch gelatinization, you can pull off an absolute masterclass in flavor balancing right in your own kitchen. Go take a look at your pantry right now. Are you ready to execute the protocol?